Hi everyone, this is Molly with Scientology Recovery, and today I want to share with you all my favorite holistic practice. This is a practice that is so essential right now because of the pandemic and the amount of stress that everybody is under. The practice is known as shaking. Shaking comes from a variety of different cultural lineages. I learned it from my teacher, who learned it from a Qigong teacher, from a lineage that came out of China. So there's an old Chinese proverb, I don't know it exactly, but it's something about how stagnation is the breeding ground for disease. And just like if you were to put a toxic substance into water, that toxic substance is not going to stay there if you shake the water up. Our bodies are primarily made of water, and the environment in which toxins accumulate and breed for disease is no different than the rest of nature. So we can really effectively reduce the amount of physical ills, mental ills, spiritual crises in our system if we practice shaking on a regular basis. Now, shaking is something that has been passed down from a variety of different cultural traditions around the world for many centuries. I have a book here I want to show you. It's called Shaking Medicine by Bradford Keeney, and he does a beautiful job discussing the practice of shaking and how different cultures throughout time have used it as their form of medicine. Everybody is under a lot of stress right now because of the pandemic that we're in, and people's nervous systems are greatly dysregulated. And as I talked about before in previous videos about the autonomic nervous system ladder, we come from safe and social, and when we get stressed out, we go down into fight or flight, and if we continue on that path, then we shut down into freeze. So shaking is a great way to mobilize aspects of the body that are in that frozen shutdown state. It helps us come up out of freeze when we're overwhelmed, or when we want to help give some movement to long held patterns in the body that are just like chronically tense in that manner. So we can shake structures of the body by bringing our awareness into them, and we can bring those structures out of freeze and on our way through fight or flight back up into safe and social. So it's really effective if you feel overwhelmed to do in the moment, and it's also effective as a daily practice, just like meditation or yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong. Now, in Scientology, we've been indoctrinated to believe that stress is in the mind, but nobody talks about the location of where that is. So the mind is not theoretical. It is overlaid with the fascial system of the human body, and shaking the environment for where stress is held is a great way to come up out of fight or flight or freeze and back into safe and social. I've been practicing shaking for over 10 years, and it's been so wonderful for me to just be able to reset my system when I'm feeling stressed out. And it's opened up a lot of pathways in my system where I found more integration, more ease, and just a greater ability to really feel my relationship with my body and my body's relationship to life, to different people, to the rest of nature, etc. So I highly recommend it. I'm going to walk you through just like the very basic start of shaking. And because we're all going through this pandemic right now, if you study Chinese medicine, you know that grief is primarily held in the lungs. It's also held in the heart. And so I want to just focus this shaking practice today on the lungs and the heart. And I'm just going to do a brief practice to get you guys able to get started on your own. And then in the future, I'll do other shaking videos with regards to other specific structures. So if you just come to standing, and if you're not able to stand, it's totally fine to sit in a chair also. And just bring your feet together. Bring your awareness out of your head and into your body. And we're going to separate the feet. And you're going to come up onto the balls of your feet. And then you're going to drop down and begin shaking. Now, if you're just watching this video and you're not joining me, there's no point in that. So please just join me. Just try it. I know it seems like it's just too simple that helping to ease and resolve mental and physical ills could not be this simple. But our bodies are a piece of nature, and just as if you were to put a toxic substance into the ocean, because of the buoyancy and movement of the water, that toxic substance is going to disperse, right? So just let your head just relax, let go of your eyes, directing, like you can kind of just soften your gaze a little bit. And bring your awareness out of your head and into your neck. And just shake your neck. So now you're joining in a practice that has been passed down through centuries in a variety of different cultural traditions. It helps people be more grounded, more centered, and more connected to their own inner resources. So it's really important to relax the neck because most of us drive for the majority of our lives. You know, we have our whole body that's kind of pinned down by the seatbelt, and then our neck takes on all of the subtle fluctuations of the car. And so that causes a lot of chronic tension in the neck, so just really let your neck go. And then you're going to bring your awareness down into your lungs and in your heart. And if it's hard to put your awareness in that space, then just try feeling first your clothing on your skin. And then from there, try feeling your skeletal system, feeling your bones, your clavicle, your collarbone, your sternum, your ribs. And then bringing that awareness into a more narrow aperture, we're going to bring it closer in to where the lungs and heart are. Now, if you practice this on a daily basis, you might find that you express some grief through the process. So your body might like cry a little bit. That's totally okay. It's good. It's just releasing it. You don't need to analyze why that's happening. Just let it come out. And we're going to bring our awareness to our right lung first. So, you know, throughout time, because of the lack of movement in our culture and the lack of buoyancy, because of all of the stagnation that we embody from sitting in chairs and, you know, being at desks for so long, our organs have adhered to each other and to the fascia that surrounds them, to the muscles, the intercostal muscles of the ribs and to the bones. And so it can be really useful to like lighten up those spaces that are holding emotion and to give buoyancy to those structures. So in your mind, just try to think of your right lung like a piece of jello and just give some buoyancy to it. And we're gonna, I like to lean into my right foot to shake my right lung. It's okay to cough too. Sometimes we have debris that comes up out of the lungs when we're shaking them. And then come to center, shaking the heart as its own organ. Shake it away from the lungs on each side. Shake it away from the sternum in front of it. And away from the vertebral bodies of the thoracic spine behind it. It can also be helpful to like think, you know, like you want to stay in your body, but to think of like shaking out whatever you're trying to release, like grief or frustration or anger, and shaking in light, love, forgiveness, gratitude, whatever you feel called to. Just kind of have a lighthearted attitude about it. And then we're going to lean into our left foot and shake our left lung. And come to center, shaking all three of those organs. And again, the right lung. The heart at center, well, that's a bit left of center, and the left lung. So in my mind, I like to use my felt sense awareness, and I like to kind of like wipe the seal of the organs being adhered to the fascia in front of them, to the rib cage and to the rib cage in the back. Kind of like, you know, when you bake a cake and it adheres to the side of the pan and you have to take the butter knife, you know, separate it. So I like to imagine your ribs are here, and just like in your mind you can kind of just like wipe that that seal away so that frees up the organs a little bit. So you're doing that with your felt sense awareness. And then you can kind of do the same thing around the heart to separate the heart from the lungs to either side. And stop. You can just allow your body to have any of its own organic movement. You might find that it wants to move a little bit. You can allow that to express. And when you want to finish with that, just bring the hands to lower dantian. That's the lower energy center in Chinese medicine I spoke about before. And that's it. Thanks for watching. And I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an intro to the shaking practice. Hopefully you'll try it, if not now, in the future or next time you feel a little bit stressed out. It can be of great benefit to our overall physical, mental, and spiritual health. And I'll be making more shaking videos in the future for other specific structures. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.